I am surrounded by.
I'm often surrounded by.
The entire system is surrounded by
Freaking idiots.
Surrounded by them.
idiots.
How you feeling, man?
Good, dude. Good. I'm so tired. I didn't think, like, people wouldn't think that when you start a company.
Oh, you can just pull that to you. Oh, like the hood, yeah. He's like, I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do with
my
right now.
hands.
Dude, people think that when you start a company, that's all glitz and glamour, dude, and it's like, I'm so tired.
Oh, I believe
I'm
it. Yeah.
so tired because I'm doing everything. You know what I mean? And so when there's an issue,
I wonder what that's like.
when there's an issue, I have to deal with this while also trying to keep pushing the ball forward this way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been along for a whole year now. I've been working on this.
So, well, first off, you have a peptide company called Embody Wellness. What got you? So I've known you for years.
Yeah,
years.
dude.
Like 2000.
You're probably one of my longest friends here in LA.
I believe it.
2009, maybe.
Because think about all the people we were friends with that we don't even talk to.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we still, that's crazy. But yeah, it's 2000, maybe 2011.
2011? Is that when you moved
yeah.
here?
Because I moved here 2009, and then I want to say, I wasn't 21 though.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I was like
forgot about
I
that.
was 17, going on 18. So 18, 19, 20, 21. So I had to be like 2011, 2012.
Man.
Because the first time I was coming to Chateau with Ammo.
Yeah.
So that was that. And then and then you gotta remember Jabari turned 21. Then I'm July, he's in February. So
Okay.
then that's when
Yeah.
we got a voice in Chateau. That's funny. But I've seen you work on a lot of different companies. I've seen you work on a lot of different
And it's
projects.
great because I get like obsessed with certain things. Like certain
Yeah.
stuff just kind of falls in my lap. Like remember when I was running around about Bitcoin in like 2000, around that time?
In
maybe after that?
2013, this guy was like, "Hey, you know what we need? Bitcoin ATMs." And I'm looking at him like, "What the fuck is that? What does that mean? Why?" I guess okay, Anthony. And like, nah. I remember 2017, 18, walking down Melrose, and it's like Bitcoin ATM, and I'm just like, "Damn."
Yeah, man. It was, so the way that happened was I had originally invested with this guy, and we're going to open, I was flipping houses, and we're going to open a nursing home. And he was this Armenian gangster looking dude, and I was like, all right, he's done business with my buddies. Like, I think I could trust him. Like, he's done a lot of business with my friends. They made money, you know? So I invested with him, and then I'm like, hey, where's my money? And he's like, I put it in this thing called Bitcoin. We're going to make money, I promise. I promise we're going to make some money. And I'm like, it looks like it's going down. And so at that time was the first big crash that that Bitcoin happened. It went to like $1,200 or $1,300 and then dropped all the way down to $300. And
What year was this?
2013 or 14 maybe.
If I could have just
14?
if I just would have taken one suburgatory check and just say, you know what? Fuck it. Let's see where this Bitcoin thing goes. Brother.
Dude, so get this. I'm like, I don't have any money. I'm like, dude,
Right.
my money's gone, bro. Like, where the fuck did it go? In this digital, I don't even know what this is.
What is this? Yeah.
So then I started to learn about what it was, and I was like, I knew nothing. The only thing I knew about computers at the time was like fixing my MySpace page. You know what I mean? Like,
that
that's
code.
all I knew.
That was all the code.
So then I started learning about it, and I was like, holy shit, this is gonna be really big. And then I started going to conferences, and at the time of the conference, there was only like 300-400 people there.
Wow.
And so we would go, and all these billionaire Bitcoin guys were there before. And I remember sitting there with my ATM. I'll send you a picture of it, of me and my ATM at this conference. And everyone's like, this is so cool. You can buy the cash from here.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. The Bitcoin from here. But I should have put a lot more than I did into that because we're putting money into the ATM.
Right.
But in order for us to run the ATMs, we had to buy the Bitcoin to sell it. So it was like split. So if I would have just said, fuck it, I'm just going to not do ATMs and just put it all into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Oh, you'd be.
Yeah.
You'd be up.
Yeah.
How did that pan out? What did it?
I still did pretty good.
Okay.
I remember, dude. So at that time, I remember nobody knew about Bitcoin,
Yeah.
and so it was the ATMs were like making money, but not enough for me to live lavishly,
Right. Right.
or even to show. It was like barely getting by. And then one morning, I remember waking up. I had hardly any money in my account, and I woke up and had so much money in my bank account that I was like, and it wasn't even my bank account; it was my crypto account. And I was like, and at the time there wasn't a lot of people to like,
Oh, to
cash
take
you
it out, cash you out.
because I was all in the altcoins. I'd taken it out of Bitcoin when it started going up, and I moved it into the altcoins, which was like Stellar and
Yeah.
you know,
What was the other one?
Ethereum.
Ethereum, yeah.
And dude, I remember waking up one morning and trying to figure out. Ethereum was okay to get out, but there was a couple other ones that were hard, like IOTA and stuff. I'd have to send it to this exchange, swap it out from there.
Yeah.
Send it to this exchange, swap it out from there. Then
This is literally why I've never. I remember you're the first person who told me download Binance. You're the
Yeah.
first person who told me download. There was another one, something IO,
Well,
like
the
.io. Yeah,
the first Bitcoin I bought was in Studio City off this guy who owned a business, and I had to go in because Coinbase didn't allow me to buy it with my bank account. They'd only store it for me. So I had to go to this guy. He owned like a alkaline water company in Studio City, and then we sat down. I gave him the $300 for one Bitcoin, and he transferred it right over to my phone, and I was like, "That's it." He's like, "That's it. We're done." I was like, "All right."
it's also crazy because you're sitting there like, well, I just gave you real money. I guess I got this token now.
Yeah.
This is not.
You know how I felt? Remember in Wayne's World where they're walking around with their VIP passes, like around their neck, and they're showing everyone their
You
passes.
know what's crazy? I haven't seen Wayne's World.
You've never
I've seen it, but I saw it when I was really young,
Yeah.
and I don't remember.
Well, that's how I felt when I had Bitcoin. I was just like,
Look, I got one. I
Look
got
at
one.
I got it.
That's funny. So when did you take the? Because I know you did a ton of stuff in between,
Yeah.
but like, when did you make this this pivot to
So I went
peptides?
from Bitcoin, and then I got the contract. So one thing I noticed, and it sounds fucking crazy when you say it out loud, but the way when COVID happened, I had a lot. I knew some people that worked in government, and they were like, "Yeah, we have to take tests. We have to." The people that weren't vaccinated had to test themselves at work, put it in an envelope, mail it off, and get the results 2 days later. But they're still at work
They're
still at work that entire time.
That makes zero sense.
So like if you have COVID, you just fucked the entire office.
And you'll know in 2 days.
Yeah, and you'll know in 2 days. You guys were all gonna find out in a few days if we're shutting this bitch down.
When motherfuckers are calling off of work. Yeah, okay. Well, I guess we found out before 2 days.
Yeah, and so the government was spending when I say the government, the county that I knew that was doing this was spending $500,000 a week for this system because there's like 30,000 people that were testing. So if you think about like the mail, actually buying the test,
Right.
it's a lot of money. And so I proposed to them, I said, I have these rapid tests. We can test you. We can send people to the offices. We'll test you. You'll get your results in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
We ended up saving them. They went from $500,000 a week to $300,000 a month.
Oh, wow.
So we took it down completely, and we did that for 2 years, which was great.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So from there, I got a relationship with pharmacies. I don't know if you know my buddy Ali, but he owns a pharmacy out in Orange County and does the testing. So he was doing all of the COVID testing for me.
Got you.
Well, then move forward. A guy that I went to high school with, Mike Linares, he's like a real famous nurse, right? And he started a company called simplenursing.com. So he where they teach nurses how to study for the exam.
Smart.
This guy knows everything. He knows
Smart.
about health because you're saying it over and over and over and over.
Right.
And he was the one that approached me and was like, "Hey, we need to get on this peptide thing." I was like, "Dude, what is this? What is this stuff? Like, I don't even know what this is." And I had known what Ozempic was at the time, but I didn't know about all of the other peptides. And it's like knowing about Bitcoin, but not knowing about Ethereum.
Right.
Or all of the other utilities out there.
Which is also odd very quickly. When I was listening to these interviews and stuff that you're telling me about, Ozempic is for diabetes.
It's a diabetes.
Yeah, diabetes.
It's
Stop, diabetes.
It's for the diabetes. But yeah, it was originally a diabetic drug, GLP-1. GLPs
Crazy.
are for diabetics, which makes sense if you think about it, because when it's suppressing your appetite, you're not going to eat shit food,
Right.
and your blood sugar is going to regulate, and you're going to feel better. But
And it's not even an American company.
well,
Ozempic.
Ozempic,
Yeah.
yeah. So GLP is a natural compound.
Okay.
It's a natural molecule.
And that's why they can't patent the
That's why they
actual-
can't patent it.
Makes
So what
sense.
happens is you can't patent a natural molecule because it's found in Earth. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's here.
It's
motherfucker.
here.
Yeah.
It's like trying to patent wood.
It's like I own the ocean.
Yeah,
What you mean?
exactly.
Yeah.
And so what they did is the only way that they can patent it is the dosage and the way that it gets delivered, the delivery system.
And
That's-
the brand name.
And well, yeah. Once you have the delivery system and the dosage, like the Ozempic pins were just like
Right.
turns, that's how you can patent it.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah. But before that, like the same thing that's happening with BPC 157, which you've been taking,
Yeah.
dude, there's been no adverse side effects with anybody, but they moved it to the category 2 danger list when it started picking up.
Right. Because you can't patent
You
it.
can't patent it. And so they tried to kill the market. Like the cost for me to buy BPC now, like at wholesale, should not be as high as it is, but it's only that high because there's only certain compound pharmacies that are willing to make it.
Because it's on the danger list.
'Cause it's
And
on the
because they
danger
want to
list.
play ball with the pharmaceutical
Exactly.
companies.
And we
Yeah.
know why the FDA moved it to the, danger list. They're getting bad information from big pharmaceutical companies.
Right.
Well, the big pharmaceutical companies are actively testing this on their own.
Because we're trying to figure out how to patent it.
We're going to figure out how to patent
And
this.
then it'll be safe and effective.
Then we'll say it's okay.
Right. Well, no, because I know for sure. Just I had heard about BPC, like even when you told me about it, I was like, oh, I've heard of this. Like, I don't really know where to get it. They make it seem very sketchy, especially due to the fact that it is something when you get like the compound, you have to take by a syringe. So then that scares
everybody.
you. You know, and you feel like you'll do it wrong. It's like all these little things, but yeah, I notice a substantial difference in my my knee pain.
Yeah.
You know, and one side was hurting a little bit more than the other. Started using the others, and it's like I noticed a difference. And I'm hoping it because explain what a peptide is and what it actually is doing.
So what a peptide is a small chain amino acid. So they're amino acids, and what it's doing is as we get older, your body gets deficient in these, which is like a supplement. And so
Gotcha.
you're supplementing these peptides or putting it in there, just like with vitamin C or whatever. It's basically peptides are basically Flintstone vitamins for adults. And
Gotcha.
so what you're doing is you're supplementing for that. So we already make, like, BPC is a gastric peptide that's made in our stomach. So people with IBS or any GI problems, it's really good for that. But it also accelerates blood to those certain areas, like where the injuries are, and helps repair that tissue a lot quicker. So
Got you. Okay.
yeah, but yeah, we've gotten great results. But the reason why we just came out with a cream, or like a gel. And the reason why we came out with the gel is because with the FDA, if it's in a sterile environment, the FDA highly they regulate it a lot because it's a sterile. You're injecting it with you're injecting yourself
Right.
with it. Makes sense. I get it. So we created a gel that works just as it's 80% bioavailability as subcutaneous injections.
Okay.
So with that, with the compound pharmacy that we worked with out of Orange County, they have this gel matrix that's able to send it like 6 layers deep. And dude, we have NBA players using it. We have snowboarders, skateboarders. A lot of these athletes are starting to use it because one market that we're really going to start focusing on is pickleball.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you something, dude. People that are playing pickleball now aren't people that play sports normally.
And the way they move on their body as if they've been doing this.
Dude,
I've seen videos and I'm like, yo, this is brash. And
Dude,
it's
I
not
stood-
young people.
I stood up off the weight bench the other day and almost threw my back out, man.
Bro, I know I'm getting older because there's moments where I go to pick something up or do little things and you just move too fast or you turn too fast and you're like, whoa, that could have been bad. And I'm like, I never used to feel this. Like, you know, when you're a kid, you just fucking rubber. You just jump on couches, jump on beds, fall, hit your head, get back up. Like, no. Like, now it's like, no, that's a concussion. Like,
Yeah.
that's a problem.
But yeah, so the peptide, the whole war on peptide thing is just wild and mind-boggling to me. And it's cool that we have people like RFK coming out now to kind of, did you see the conference?
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's cool that we have these people coming out and speaking against it because it's something I feel like we all kind of knew already.
Well, the numbers show a story. First off, like, one thing is like the SSRIs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, how are we the only country that has all our children on like antidepressants? And
Dude,
all this,
what did RFK say the other day? He said when he was a kid, 1 in 10,000 kids had autism.
Autism, yeah.
Now it's 1 in 22 in California.
That's insane. Let me see. Let me see what the just U.S. autism rate is.
Yeah.
Because I mean, what changed? You know, I
The
mean, a
only thing
lot
that
of things
changed
changed.
is
but-
all the vaccines are giving us. As a kid, like,
and our food for sure.
well, yeah, and our food. But as the kids now, the amount of vaccine. See how many vaccines a kid has to get now compared to in 1965.
Okay, how many get in first year, right? How many when to get baby immunizations? Your child needs shots at birth, 2, 4, 6, 12, 15, and 18 months of age.
Oh, the
Nigga.
months? I thought you were saying years.
Oh, So wait, hold on. So and then you're getting multiple of some of these, like 1 of 2, varicella, measles, mumps, rubella, hepatitis A, 1
These all
of 2.
sound like rapper names.
Yeah, you know, young measles. Young measles in the booth. This is another thing. Why I gotta take Hippopotamus?
Why you give them all the easy ones?
Why the fuck do I have to take something that I can't pronounce? And it's not like I just can't pronounce. I guarantee you 90% of the people who have this in their body can't pronounce this.
No.
This is kind of a say. Okay, so now let's see how we get in the first year.
Well, okay, first year in, let's say, 1960s.
1960. Kids got multiple doses of DPT, DT, and
31
polio.
doses.
31 doses.
Gets us 72 doses today. Wait, what is this?
Where
Using the same anti-vaccine math that gets us 72 doses a day. Kids in the 60s got 31 doses.
Okay. Wow. So yeah, so we've over doubled it. Also, in the Reagan administration, they passed that bill where it was basically like, hey, no vaccine can be completely safe. So vaccines get a pass out of liability because.
But they're forcing us to take something that has a hall pass. It should be like, hey, we don't know if this is going to work, so you don't have to take it.
Right. That's what it should be.
Instead of like, hey, you have to take this, and we're not really too sure what it's going to do, but.
And we're not liable.
Yeah, and you.
Like, that's the craziest thing. My biggest thing is if I'm going to do anything that is experimental or in a phase like that, like I have to have someone to sue. If things go wrong, like if my arm falls off, like no, you have to be held or someone has to pay me money. You know, I can't have my arm fall off and it's just like, we don't know. But I got the thing yesterday. Yeah, but you know, by taking it, you don't even sign anything. By taking it is you saying, hey, I accept whatever comes with this. But they don't want a peptide on the market.
Dude, it's wild.
It's a weird, yeah.
I mean, we all kind of know, well, like in the last 40 years, only 2 people haven't left the FDA and worked for Big Pharma.
Yeah.
Have not. So, I'm just saying.
Revolving door.
I'm just saying, man. You know?
I wonder what those, I mean, also, you have the royalties. The people who create these vaccines, they get royalties of like $150,000 every year till they're dead, and then they can pass that on to their kids. It's like a yeah.
That's wild.
That's wild. Like it's like you know, you make a record, you get royalties, but no. You made a vaccine and you get royalties.
dude.
So wouldn't you want that to sell?
Yeah. But I'm
Regardless
just, it's
of...
crazy that they have peptides like, oh, these are dangerous. Here's some Oxytocin. Why don't you take one of these?
Take one of these, you'll feel great.
Gonna feel great. Don't take too many.
But if you do, it's not our problem.
Dude, we had so originally when I started this company, we were selling the subcutaneous injections, but it was a long process. They had to go through, like it's a doctor's note. We have to like analyze you, get blood tests, whatever, right? And so it was a longer process. And I was like, hey, I want to get this out. And it's also more expensive. It was like for 3 months of BPC would be like $1,300,
Ooh.
right? And so with the same amount of vials we put in the cream, it's only like a couple $100. Gotcha. And so, what was I saying?
You were saying you got into...
Oh yeah, so when I got into
this...
so we're doing the subcutaneous injections, yeah. But it was just just trying to help these people out. You see such a huge difference in them because a lot of these people were actively taking a lot of pain pills at the time. And then when they started taking the BPC, they completely they heal themselves.
Right. And how long does it usually take on an injury to not only feel some results, but also to be like, oh wait, no, I don't necessarily have to use...
Well, so sometimes people will not feel the pain anymore, and they'll think they're healed, but that doesn't mean that. Like I had a buddy who had plantar fasciitis. His was gone the next day, taking the shots.
Wow. But
then he started running again. Well, he said it was 80% gone the next day. Started running again, it came back.
Right.
And I was like, dude, you gotta, like, just because it feels better doesn't mean it's gone. Yeah. So he ended up taking it for like 3 weeks, maybe a month, and it's completely gone now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
What have you heard of? What is it called? PRP.
Yeah.
So now, what's the difference between like a peptide and something like PRP?
So no, so what peptides are is they're made in our bodies. Yeah.
And PRP is something that's external.
Exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, man, there's the war on peptides has been pretty wild because there's so many other ones out there. Like erbutamine is great. It's like it's a growth hormone, and that's one of the ones they put on the ban list. Which when they mean ban list, they mean like it's in a danger list.
Yeah.
But Big Pharma is just released something the other day saying that they're actively doing trial tests on it.
Well, you got to stay ahead of the competition, you know? So how hard is it to find peptides in like in a safe way? Because I know that there's probably some people making them because there's not like a name brand one yet.
Yes, exactly. So I see what you're saying. So if you're finding them for super cheap online and you don't need a doctor's note and they're just sending you a vial that says for research purposes only and it's like $80, it's probably coming from China and it's probably packed with LPS or lead or whatever.
And what's LPS?
It's basically contaminated. It's terrible for you.
Okay.
It's coming packed with that stuff because they're not doing it correctly. They're just going to pump this stuff out. And so you're getting it for super cheap compared to when you're getting it from a pharmacy here. You're getting, that's going to be in a sterile environment from an FDA approved compound pharmacy if you're getting it through a doctor because the doctor's putting their license up for it. But I've seen websites because we used to get clients who are like, well, I can get it for $90. And I go to the website and it's literally a Wix website that was thrown up.
You're like, oh, I see.
Nothing against Wix, but I'm just saying it still said Wix is the bottom. You know what I mean?
They didn't even get the subscription where you take the logo off. Yeah, that's not good. No, I've seen those because that's what I was looking at. Like I said before, prior when I was looking into it, I was trying to find like websites and trying to find people who had it, and it was like it shows you how when a larger corporation doesn't want you to necessarily find things.
Yeah.
It's a wormhole you kind of have to go down, and it's like weird Reddit threads, and it's because the problem is you don't know anybody, generally speaking, who's also taking it. We all know somebody who's taking a fucking aspirin. We all know somebody who's taking Tylenol.
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily know like oh, hey, so you've been using it. How's that working for you?
Yeah.
You don't really have
And
that
like you said,
anecdotal.
when it comes with syringes, and that's the reason why we came out with the gel, because I lost 50% of my patients as soon as I was like, oh, it's an injectable. They're like, nah, I'm good.
yeah.
I'm cool.
Scared, yeah.
But like, just because it's coming from a big pharmaceutical company doesn't, and I'm not talking about peptides, I'm talking about other drugs, doesn't necessarily mean it's safe as we've all known.
Right.
Like they're giving us stuff that's killing. I mean, I think more people have died of the opioid crisis than at Vietnam now. So it's not
That's
safe.
kind of crazy.
You know what I mean? And if you want to take it back though, if you want to go way back and think about where these this one big pharmaceutical company back in the 40s,
This is just what I was about to say right now,
During-
which is insane.
during the 40s,
Yeah.
hit up the Nazi regime and was like, hey, we need 150 healthy women, Jewish women. You know what I mean?
Well, they just said healthy women. And
Healthy women.
And the Germans were like, we're not giving them Germans. Send over some.
So they send over 150 women, right?
Yeah.
6 months later, they send the regime back a letter that says, hey, thank you so much. The women came. They're all healthy. None of them survived. Can you send another 150 more?
Bayer. Bayer.
No one survives the test. But can you send us more, please?
That's it. And they're the people we buy aspirin from. Bayer aspirin, Bayer Pharmaceuticals.
Yeah. And we know how they tested it now.
Yeah. Just like we know how IBM tested their accounting system.
How was that? I didn't know that one.
Yeah, they kept numbers on the Jews for the Nazis. They had the counting system. It was IBM had the counting system. Adidas had the uniforms,
Oh,
and
man.
Hugo Boss had the uniforms. I'm sure Adidas was making some shoes or some boots. Neumann had the microphones.
The running boots.
The running boots. Could you imagine they're like all like fly knit and shit? Yeah, it's ridiculous. It just shows you it's like how it's the revisionist history. And you know, it's always that way with anything when there's a lot of money involved or a lot of, you know, it's we've moved on, you know, like Fanta and Coca-Cola. We never but it's like, you know, at one point he was the winning game in town.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, but it's, you know, people flock to whatever is winning.
And it's crazy it's how much we also know sugar is bad for us.
Terrible. But
Yet it's what keeps everyone going.
I think that's another thing, though. It hijacks because, like, I know somebody who eats I almost feel like that's where they get their dopamine because they eat so much sugar. And mind
When you don't take it, you feel terrible.
Exactly. And it's, you know, whether it's a frappuccino in the morning and then from there it's like, oh, I like candy, bubblegum, sweet drink when I eat my food, and it's just like, yo, like you've barely drinking a bottle of water. Like what are we doing? Like you can't sustain this, and this isn't good because it's also, I mean, same as I would say for something like smoking weed. Like for me, it's like, hey, you know, like you're just really hijacking your dopamine system to and the more you do it, the less it works.
Have you ever done like what's the longest you've ever fasted? Have you ever?
The longest I've ever probably fasted is I'd say probably like 2 days.
2 days
max.
I did 80. You know when Dana White came out and he was like, I did 84 hours.
Yeah.
I went up to my cabin in Lake Arrowhead and fasted
You got a
for
cabin in
3
Lake
days.
Arrowhead?
It's like it's been in the family for years. Like it's old.
I've never gotten an invite.
It's very old.
I've never gotten an invite. I like lakes. I like arrowheads. I like cabins.
We'll go up there, man. We'll go up there.
I'm just fucking.
Just us two.
Yeah, no.
Just two guys.
Just two
Sitting
guys
in our
at the
cabin.
cabin in the woods. You have a canoe? We can go canoeing together. Just taking peptides and canoeing. That's how we're doing. No, continue though.
No, yeah. So I went up to the cabin. I wanted to lock myself away from food. I was like, I can't do this.
Control this.
I can't do this at home, man. I gotta do it somewhere else. So I go up to the cabin. I lock myself in. There's no food in there because we're hardly there, so we don't keep anything in there except for like ice creams or something, right?
Right.
So I go up there and I work. After 3 days, I wasn't even hungry, and I still had all this energy, but I felt depressed because I missed the taste of food. But I wasn't even hungry. But I missed like the taste of a apple fritter from McDonald's. You know what I mean?
It was like that would be very nice, right? but it showed you because it's withdrawal.
Yeah, but I wasn't hungry. I just was like getting depressed from like that dopamine hit of food and like, you know what I mean?
That's what trying to do keto did to me. When I did keto for a little while, I realized I was like, oh, yo, I'm not hungry after I eat, half a pound of chicken breast and like a vegetable. Like I'm not hungry at all.
Yeah.
But I didn't get that sugar rush from that carb, or I didn't get like.
You probably woke up feeling a lot better too in the morning.
Yeah, I
Feel
felt
great.
great.
Inflammation goes down. Everything goes down. If people just cut out sugar, if they just try, and I know it's hard because it's in everything.
Yeah.
But if people just went to eating anything that wasn't processed, just like meat, vegetables, water, for 2 weeks, I guarantee all of your joint pain will go away. You'll lose a significant amount of weight, and you won't have the same cravings, and you'll wake up in the mornings feeling great. Just 2 weeks. If you just did 2 weeks of that, you would feel phenomenal.
Well, it's weird because we do this with everything else. Even like, not everybody, but even with diets, people, they'll eat like shit for extended periods of time, and then they'll be like, hey, I'm going to go on a diet. Like, a little on, off. But with sugar and with, most things, we don't do that. Like or even with, like you said, like a fast, like in theory, it just makes sense because you're not supposed to do anything consistently all the time.
Yeah.
Like most things are supposed, even working out, it's like, hey, you're supposed to have a rest day.
Yeah.
Like everything has like a on off switch, but not sugar and not food.
Yeah, no, people realize
Processed food.
I saw a video of you can probably find it online, of how much sugar is in one Starbucks cup, and it was like half the fucking glass, dude.
I believe it.
It was like half the glass, and then it's
I believe it though, because it's not a. Let's be real. They're selling you two drugs in one. They're selling you sugar and they're selling you caffeine, and both of these things are addicting, and both of these things hijack your dopamine system and make you feel good. That is by far the best business you possibly could. I give you sugary treats for breakfast.
and it's terrible for you.
It's terrible for you. Let me see. Sugar and
Yeah, who was it? I think it was Dr. Huberman was talking about how kids in the morning, all of these kids now are being diagnosed with ADD because we were told as kids when ADD was becoming popular, eat Lucky Charms for breakfast.
right.
It's packed with fucking sugar. You go to school and you're just like you can't even think straight. And and they're like, oh, he has ADD. We got to get him on.
We got to get him on something.
on some shit.
Got to get him on something. Let's see. They have I guess this guy is just the guy who doesn't.
23
Oh yeah.
sugar
I think this
packages.
is the one I saw.
That's probably not good for you. There are many better ways to eat breakfast.
From the beginning.
This is a breakfast from Starbucks. A double chocolate chip frappuccino
See, yeah,
and a blueberry muffin. And
I
it's
love the
full
muffins.
garbage.
I mean,
the
it looks
muffins
great.
be hidden, boy.
It looks
81
great.
grams of processed sugar. Let me show you guys what that looks like. All of that is in there. That's the equivalent of 23 sugar packages. That's probably not good for you. There are many better ways to eat breakfast. Eat an animal-based breakfast, scrambled
Even
eggs,
fruit.
a burger patty,
Like
raw
fruit
milk
is
with honey,
it's
some fruit. Choosing this for breakfast.
it's
is gonna
God's
make you fat,
candy.
sick, and
like
unhealthy. I mean, look
whenever.
at that, guys.
Look at that sugar.
It's a whole plate full
Look at that.
of processed sugar right in there. You don't want that.
That's
Choose better.
insane.
And those two
bro.
things.
This is a
Two things,
breakfast
and
from
then you didn't
Starbucks.
even get your cake pop. Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
And some people have that was the grande.
Oh yeah,
that
it was
wasn't
the
even
venti.
the venti, dude.
Holiday drink. This is the peppermint mocha, and it contains 68
68?
grams of sugar.
Just the
there
mocha.
are no micronutrients in processed sugar. There are no vitamins, no minerals. This is essentially just empty calories. To make matters worse, this peppermint mocha also contains carrageenan, a sulfated polysaccharide from algae that is used as a thickening
Dude,
agent
this is-
that has clearly
What?
been shown to damage the gut, to cause leaky gut. I don't have a problem with naturally occurring sugar in things like fruit, which have minerals, magnesium,
That is wild,
potassium,
dude.
vitamins,
insane,
vitamin
bro.
C, beta carotene.
Yeah, and then the thing
This
is
Starbucks
people are
peppermint
doing that first thing in the morning, so they're they're just getting
Blasted,
They're
jacked,
blasted,
yeah.
dude.
Sugar
then next thing you
and
know,
caffeine.
they're starting to come down. Like, oh, I need another one. Boom, 2 doses of that. You were at 128 grams of sugar already.
And that's what you
by
drink.
noon?
That's what you drink. You haven't
Yeah.
eaten yet. You haven't got in, like he showed you, oh, that's just a muffin. You didn't get whatever. Then you probably had a sandwich or something that had bread, the bread, and that turns into sugar. And then or you had a burger and fries, which a lot of that's going to turn into sugar.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it's insane. And then people wonder why they have diabetes. And it's
Diabetes.
like, diabetes.
Diabetes.
And it's like, bro, that's kind of, fuck.
Yeah.
That's a lot of sugar.
Yeah. And this episode is brought to you by Prime.
Hey, you. Hey, everybody. Sometimes, do you wake up and you just go, I need a good sugary drink. People down at Starbucks always make me feel good. Could you imagine? I love that when I listen to podcasts, though, and they'll be talking about something. I was watching Tim Dillon's podcast, and he was talking about, like, he was like, it's ridiculous. He was talking about sports, sports gambling. He was like, this is ridiculous, and just got people, it's an addiction, and they just put it everywhere. He was like, and now my next commercial is probably going to be for sports gambling. And then he just cut right to
DraftKings.
He was like, DraftKings sports bets. See, I knew it. It's hilarious.
Yeah, man.
That's it, bro.
Have you tried Prime?
No.
Dude,
Remember Four Loko?
Do I remember Four Loko? You know how many DUIs underage kids have got in high school from Four Locos?
Bro, I was in, where do they do the big Halloween thing out here? It's a college. It's Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara.
Me, Jabari, we all went out to Santa Barbara. But this is when he was in college.
Yeah.
It's the year Four Loko dropped, boy. Oh, my God. When I tell you, we walked out from his homie's crib, and it's late, everybody's dressed up. There's like 15 kids on the curb, cops on, because they carrying around Four Loko cans, or they were doing some dumb shit, got caught for. And I remember everyone, like, walking around, everyone had Four Lokos, and so many kids were getting arrested.
Dude,
because
the thing was, it wasn't like it just made you drunk and you're falling over. You have so much energy. It's like cocaine and alcohol. It's what people do today.
Yeah.
Before Four Loko, there was Sparks, which was I'm a little bit older than you. Sparks was an orange can. I remember the girls used to love it. But you would show up to a house party when you're like 18, 7 in high school, and kids would be, drinking these Sparks, jumping off roofs of houses, off the pool. Yeah, there you go. Dude.
You used to fuck with those,
dude.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the girls used to love.
And what happened? They said, "No, you can't. You can't."
Dude, well, fuck, man. People were,
Why was Spark discontinued? And while I recognize the underage drinking is a serious problem, Sparks clearly noted its alcoholic content, 6% alcohol by volume, on its wonderfully metallic cans. In the end, authorities won out, and Miller Coors chose to reformulate the beverage, removing the uppers. And
the good stuff.
The uppers. Not just caffeine. What's the uppers, motherfucker? Like, what? Let me see. What was the original? Was in the original, because now they changed the Four Lokos too. The Four Lokos are they're still out there, but because they took down the caffeine in it. So let's see. The original Four Loko, created in 2005, contained the following ingredients: caffeine, taurine, guarana, and wormwood. It was originally 12% alcohol by volume. Damn. I want to see how much caffeine was in it, though, because I know that shit was probably insane.
It was getting people wild, man.
That's insane.
So
why are these things allowed in our country? Like if we would have been nowhere else.
Nowhere else.
Bro, do you think China would have some shit like that on their shelves? No fucking way.
They'd be rebuilding the fucking Great Wall of China, that's for sure, man. That Great Wall would be going, dude.
Yo, could you imagine being back in that era, sitting there going like, man, I wish there was some shit that was just like, I'm really tired, man. Building this wall is one thing, but if there was just something else we could be, doing.
Make it a little more fun.
Make it a little more fun. They didn't have cocaine. They didn't have Four Loko.
How was cocaine discovered?
That's a good question.
Like how was that? Who was the guy that was like, hey, if we put this and this together with a little bit of this, and then we shove it up some Mexican's ass,
we got something.
We got something here.
What's crazy is how it became such a huge business, but it's illegal. Like there's two.
Well, you think about it, the CIA was running stuff. They did a whole Tom Cruise movie on it, but then they're also talking about
They
how
did a
during,
whole Tom. Wait, what Tom Cruise movie was this?
Tom Cruise. You'd have to look it up.
Because Snowfall, there's the show on FX.
I
It's
haven't
the
seen
same
it.
story. So basically, that's the whole like Iran Contra thing, where they were literally bringing cocaine in. They were selling it to this guy, Freeway Ricky Ross. You've heard his name before, right?
Oh yeah, the rapper.
Yeah, no, not that guy. No, are you serious?
No, I'm
okay.
kidding.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kidding. I know.
But so Freeway Ricky Ross, and they were bringing this shit in, and he was selling it, but not realizing he was selling this shit for the CIA so he could make the money so that they could fund the war. And it's kind of like, wait, so like this is.
Meanwhile, you got people on the streets doing life in prison for yeah.
Yeah, there's still people in jail for like weed.
I saw this thing where I heard of this guy and I know this guy in Mississippi. He's doing 15 years for having 1 kilo of meth, and it was his first event, nonviolent. 15 years. Wild.
Also, it's the fact that we create an addictive culture with everything we're talking about. We started with from the coffee to the obesity. This is why processed foods. Like people love to drink. People love their cigarettes. You know what I mean? Now social media, that's addictive. Like we create an addictive culture, but then we punish you when you get addicted.
Yeah, but do you think though it's because we have nothing else to focus on? Like if we had a struggle every day, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
If we had a struggle every day, we wouldn't be focusing on, fuck, I really, need to go on social, because when I'm, say I'm traveling or something and I'm out and about and, I went on this like camping trip, you're not focusing on anything else. It's just because I feel like we're at home and we're bored.
We're too domesticated.
Yeah, we're too domesticated. There's actually a good book called The Human Zoo. And this guy does a study on monkeys in the forest compared to like out in the wild compared to monkeys in the zoo. And obviously the monkeys in the zoo are over here throwing shit at each other and they're like acting wild, right?
Niggas bored,
because
bro.
they're like, dude, they don't have to worry about predators. They don't have to worry about finding their own food.
Right.
It's like,
this is what we do. We throw shit at each other because like, man, fuck you.
I'm gonna go jerk off in front of these kids when they get to the glass over here. Have you seen that video?
Yes, but it's once again, it's because it's like I got time to just fuck off. Like if we were still in, the caveman days where it was like, hey, you wake up, fuck a frappuccino. We must find food.
Yeah,
and we must find food for not just ourselves, for whatever little tribe we got. Yeah, like there's no time to sit there and go, I think I'm depressed.
Well,
like, no.
Exactly. That's why, who is it, 50 Cent? I hate to quote 50 Cent, but...
There's worse people to quote. Not quoting Diddy.
But I think he said that depression is a luxury, because when you're struggling and you're trying to make ends meet, you don't got time to really think about how sad you are.
Yeah, well, you don't have time to process that. I gotta keep moving, and then I can process that when I have a moment to stop, but I don't have that luxury yet.
But going back to and this is gonna get controversial, not controversial, this is a conspiracy, but going back to the caveman days, how were they living in caves and they're like, I'm gonna figure out how to build this big ass pyramid?
We were talking about this on my other podcast. So
but they're like, hey, I really need to look for food, but also I think I could put these blocks on top of each other.
Well, I think in those... Okay, so I think you have caveman days, and I think caveman days is not pyramid days, right?
But pyramid days was thousands and thousands of years before Jesus.
Fair, but they had figured out... They had at least figured out cities and infrastructure and shit. That's what I feel like the difference is. And mind you, I gotta check my because once again, caveman day. Would you even have what era
was considered the caveman
was
day?
Considered, yeah. Because I kind of feel like, in theory, once you figure out cities, water, you know what I mean? Businesses and people have now you can unfortunately now you can get slaves because you've built an empire, and then you have the slaves work on the things, and then you have these kings. And
But isn't there the conspiracy also that there was giant beings that walked the earth? It's conspiracy.
Yeah,
because they found like a thumb bone, and it was Noah's like thumb bone or something. They said they found, and it was like this big. It was huge.
I mean, in the Bible,
I'm just saying.
In the Bible, they say giants walk the earth. I mean, and then
We
once
just
again,
totally skipped over that part, I guess. Everyone just skips over that. They're like, I don't know about that one. But
I don't know about that. But there's so many. There's so many questions, but I also feel like if we could answer a lot of these questions,
like, do we really want to know?
I think we're dumb enough now that even if we knew, we wouldn't care. And I think that's why they tell us the alien shit now.
Well, dude, yeah,
because like
now before everyone was so like, oh my god, aliens, and like, you know, the movie Signs and all this stuff, whatever. But now they're like, oh yeah, UFOs are out there.
And we're just like, oh, okay.
Did you see that video of the kid though in Vegas? He said there was an alien in his backyard, and he called the cops, and the cops showed up, and the cop only believed him because there was another cop not on that incident that was like, dude, I just saw something fall out of the sky. And then at the same time, right after that, they got a call, and this kid was like, there's a monster in my backyard or whatever it is, like a tall alien. And he's like calling, he's like scared. And the cop shows up, and he's like, I'm just here. And the only reason why I believe you is because my other, you know, sheriff or police officer said he saw something fall out of the sky. Look up Vegas UFO
That's
backyard.
what I'm looking. Vegas alien sighting reveals alien turning its head.
They have a
Police
video.
body cam.
Yeah, the police, that's what it was.
A police officer's body cam catches this, something flashing low in the sky.
911 emergency.
Minutes later,
There's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us.
Lost.
And it's still there.
someone calls
Shaq got lost from
911
his
reporting
DJ show.
two large figures in their backyard.
No, I'm so nervous right now.
The 8 News Now investigators obtaining another officer's video as he's sent to the Northwest Valley home.
I have butterflies, bro. Everyone saw a shooting star, then these people say there's aliens in their backyard.
By now, it's more than an hour after that bright light. Officers meeting up
Why
with
did
the
it take a
caller and
fucking
his
hour?
family.
What'd you see?
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land in your backyard?
They see like a big, that's what they say. They see like a big something with light.
What I saw right now, I do believe in it.
Police walk into the backyard to investigate, but Metro blacked out that part of the video because it's considered private property. What's clear, they're taking this call
Is that what the
seriously.
secret? Is that what the CIA said?
Really dumb question. But did you
CIA
guys
was
see
like,
anything fall?
Yeah. No.
Private property. You can't film this.
Yeah, you're not gonna show that. somebody real quick. We're not gonna move forward with this.
Dude, is that wild though?
But that's my point. We don't care. Like it's insane, and it's just like yeah.
It's like at first it's shocking, and we're like and then we move on to the next shiny thing.
And that
You know what I mean?
yeah. Oh, by the way, I had looked up. It was called the Paleolithic era, and so that was
Is that a diet?
Sounds like a Paleolithic era. No, this is when the cavemen existed, also known as part of the Stone Age. In the era most commonly associated with cavemen, the Paleolithic era lasted from over 2 million years ago, between 40,000 and 10,000 to between 2 million years ago to between 40,000 and 10,000 years ago. So are they guessing?
From over. That's a really
Yeah, it's weird.
all right.
But basically, humans lived in caves, huts, or teepees, and were
Well,
hunters.
they keep
and
finding
gatherers.
all of these underground cities in all of these ancient,
Right.
you know, like Turkey and
And I feel like that stuff came. I can't give a time frame because apparently they fucking can't either. But I feel like once we figured that out, like once we got some language, once we got some form of, I think we started to have, once the wheel was invented. Like I think it's like shit like that. Like things that really moved us forward.
Yeah.
Once we started, if we did come from, monkeys or whatever, once we started walking on 2 feet, and then from there, I think it turns into we got to build these structures, or those structures were built because very quickly, my friend Larry Drew II, he was saying, and this was a thought process I never had. He was like, okay, so there's pyramids all around the world. He's like, but there was no way for people to communicate and interface to be like, yo, we building this over here, what y'all building over there. But y'all all built them the same way.
But that's exactly when it comes down to their talk. You ever watch Billy Carson?
Billy Carson, no, who's that?
He's look him up, dude. I love him. He's all my TikTok algorithm. It's all he talks. He talks about the Book of Enoch, the ancient scrolls,
that's crazy
Dead
that
Sea
you just
Scrolls.
said. My brother has told me so many times, a trillion fucking times. He's like, you got to read the Book of Enoch. You got to read the Book of Enoch.
I just got the Dead Sea Scrolls book at my house. I haven't opened it yet, but he talks about it all the time. Billy Carson.
I've seen this guy,
dude. He kind of looks like an alien himself.
He
like,
kind of
the way he talks and he's like
he looks like an alien and Colion Noir mixed together. Doesn't he?
Like the way he talks and he just reminds you of like Elon Musk kind of seems like an alien. You know what I mean?
Right. But, Elon Musk, even the way he talks, and sometimes
that's what I mean. Billy Carson is so and he just stares at the screen, and he's just so But the stuff he talks about, he says that we had these gods, but really there were aliens,
right? That
were showing everybody how to do all of these things, and that's why the pyramids all came up at the same time. But the gods were fighting over territory and minerals or whatever.
Basic things that were surface, and they're showing.
Yeah, but they're interplanetary beings, gods, whatever.
I could believe that. I mean, also if you really were to add, because even when you look at most religious texts, they all share like a common thread.
Oh, yeah,
like a lot of common threads. Yeah. Like there's details that are a little different, but those details, odds are, probably came from humans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think a lot of those other things, the through line of all of them, I could see.
Do you think they were fighting over immigrants coming in different planets? Build that wall. We can't have these Mars creatures coming over here.
Oh, could you imagine if that ever actually happened, where it gets that planetary, where it's like opposed to just countries like how we are now, where it's like, oh no, we got all these people from Earth coming over to Mars, and we can't accept that. Yeah. No, I mean, we're not a real planet if we're just going to let people just fly on in.
We don't know where they're coming from.
We don't know where they're going. They're sending their rapists. They're sending their criminals. Now I'm just thinking of alien Trump.
The orange alien Trump from Mars.
Why is everyone else gray and he's orange? We have a very good planet. It's the best planet. They said they've never seen a planet so
Pluto's over here sending the worst.
Sending their worst. They're not even a real planet. I believe you were removed from Yeah, that's great. What's the deal with that? What they were like, oh, our whole lives Pluto is a planet, and then did Pluto transition? What happened? I'm lost.
My whole life I've never really felt like a planet.
I didn't feel like a planet.
And so
I just felt more like a star. I think I'm going to identify as a star now.
Yeah, Pluto completely transitioned. Yeah, and Mars was like, you can't just do that. It's not safe.
I think about it every day. But you know what I do? I wake up and I be a fucking planet. Oh God,
that's funny.
That was good. That was that was fucking funny. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know where do you see our granted he's not gonna win, but granted Trump and RFK don't win, and let's just say the other regime wins. Where do you see?
I'm just saying this
is breaking, because I think everything just has to break. That and I think that's with anything. Like at a certain point, everything's like Social Security now. It's just breaking. It's like, oh wait, this Ponzi scheme. Shit. It's been enough years. Damn, 100 years goes fast.
Let's just look at where California has gone.
Bro.
Do you think it's broke?
Do you remember the California?
Dude.
We remember the LA we remembered? It was a whole different place.
Dude.
It wasn't zombie land.
Yeah, I wasn't getting robbed walking down Hollywood Boulevard, the busiest street in LA.
Oh, now it's so unsafe.
Dude,
you don't want to walk around there at night.
You can't walk there. No.
Wait, it's crazy.
You got homeless people jerking off in front of kids.
It's
the human zoo.
You know what? When I realized though that it was really bad. When I walked over there, because whenever someone comes to visit, they go, "Oh, we got to see Hollywood Boulevard," and I'm like, "No, you don't."
No.
But when you're walking down there, and I started seeing how filthy the stars were.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, oh, when you don't give a fuck about
Do you remember during COVID how bad it was? They put porta potties on the corners so people could, with hand washing stations for all the homeless people, because there's so many homeless people there. It was so bad.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
It was so, dude, there was like porta potties and hand washing stations, so they would literally not just shit on the stars. It was wild. And I think ever since COVID, it never really
it never really came back.
No.
But like I said, when they stopped caring about fucking Bing Crosby and fucking,
Okay, so to answer your question, do you see a difference between LA County and Orange County?
Yes. Major.
He said, well, I'm just saying, I'm not a scientist, but I could see things that are a little bit different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's all the white people.
It's all the white folks.
They price us out. It's like you ever go to the it's like whenever you go to the West Side and you go and even Santa Monica has gotten that, but like before you would
Santa Monica used to be kind of nice.
I mean, it's still nice if you go deep enough in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
But like once you start going more west, it's the same idea. You start looking and I've looked. I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's time for a change. Maybe it's time for my black ass to get out of Hollywood and, go Beach City and go and you go and you type it in and you go look and you see a studio for $5,800 a month. They price us out. and you realize it and you're like, shit. But you price out a lot of crazy. And that's one thing that you see,
Yeah.
And I think that's the issue even with like this area where it's like Hollywood, West Hollywood, all that stuff. It's like, oh, you're still trying to like price it up, but like I'm priced next to crazy. Like you want me to buy a $2 million or $1.8 million house, and it's next to a park, and I can see from my window a homeless guy in the park half naked. You know what I mean? I'm not taking my kid to that park. It doesn't feel that safe. It does, but there's a $2 million house. Like
that happened to Rob. He lived off of Melrose.
I remember when he had that house.
And he had that big ass house. Very nice house. It was brand new, just built.
I remember he showed me the picture. I never even got to go. He showed me the pictures. He was like, "Yeah, man, we're getting in there." And he was like, "Remember?" He was like, "Oh, come by." Like,
yeah.
We'll
and then
cook
and then they moved because there was a homeless man bathing in their jacuzzi, and they were watching him from their cameras, just bathing. Just jumped over, decided to take a little bath.
And back to how we started this conversation. And no one's held liable. I can't sue anybody. What am I gonna tell him? Hey, don't like. There should be some kind of. And then if you call the police, even if there's a fucking alien, they'll get there in an hour.
There's a giant fucking alien in my backyard. All right, we're a little busy, sir.
We'll send someone over.
Can you give us a minute?
And then the cop who could be over there, he's pulling over some black guy. You're like, what the fuck, man? He's just coming from a shift over at the Applebee's. There's a fucking alien over there.
We got an alien over here. Hang on, but we do have this black dude who looks a little suspicious.
No, we got an alien over here, an illegal one.
We got a 5-foot alien over here. Sir, there's an 8-foot alien. No, this 5-footer is a little. They're rapists and terrorists, apparently.
But we know nothing about the 8 to 10-foot one. But there are good people on both sides, on all planets. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, they need to make a skit about interplanetary Trump.
that would be hilarious. I mean, we already have I think in the future, in the next like 100 years, people will watch Idiocracy and think it's a documentary,
dude,
and not a
that was a prophecy for what's happening now.
Literally,
to how lazy people have become, to how quick. Remember all of the ads that were like in the kid was watching the TV, and
he's sitting there taking a shit in the recliner,
and it was like ads all around,
and then it was "Ow my balls" on the TV, and I'm like. We watch niggas slap each other. We watch motherfuckers. We watch slap
with tortillas. How did that even happen, by the way?
Because we got too much time on our hands and we had phones. And that's it. Milk jug challenge. Motherfuckers just going in the store dropping milk. Like
that's a challenge?
That was a challenge, bro. Like remember the ice cream challenge? People open up ice cream,
starving kids in Africa.
Why do they always go to our? Yeah. Name another fucking country.
I say Cuba because I dated a Latina. Scariest time of my life, but it was also probably one of the best times of my life. But it was. She told me some crazy stories from Cuba, dude. Crazy.
Like what?
And I was like, I save you.
I don't think you need to be over there anymore.
I will save you. This passport boy shit is getting out of hand, dude. Because I think they're starting to learn.
Oh, they know.
Yeah,
they know.
But yeah, these people in Cuba, and we're just over here dropping gallons of milk on the floor, just like.
Oh yeah, and because and it's hard for them to get shit in general,
dude.
Yeah,
she was telling me that the government, who took control over everything, gives them like one whole chicken a month. I eat one rotisserie chicken in like a day and a half.
Facts. Yeah.
And they're getting this for the month each person. And she's like, and she tells me these other crazy stories. She also told me just like how much people risk their lives to come across, because if you get caught one time, you go back, they like shun you. You can't work anywhere. No one's allowed to be around you.
Shit.
So it's like, if you get caught and go back, you're just kind of assed out. So you just got to keep trying after that.
Just imagine. Oh, big man. Big man thought he was going to go to America. Welcome back, motherfucker.
Is that they're Jamaican?
I don't know. I'm terrible at accents. I'm not good at accents.
We're at the wrong place. Wrong island. But we'll stay.
We'll stay. I can't get canceled for doing a Jamaican accent. I'm black. That is kind of crazy, though, that you're shunned. Unlike North Korea, you're just killed.
Yeah.
And your whole family is just killed.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, you know, America, like I was going back in this wormhole of like history. You know, like America had like after Korean Wars, it just got set up that way. And we just was like, oh, shit. Oh,
what do you mean?
So so I don't get this wrong. So the Korean War, that was between us and... Or we were involved.
We were fighting communism, wasn't it?
Yeah. We were fighting communism. We were fighting a fucking idea.
Well, that's what the Vietnam War was about.
No, I mean, this is what we keep doing. We keep fighting ideas. The war on drugs. Drugs is an inanimate object.
I may be a little bit happier if you would just let me take this in the morning.
Take the drugs. So the Korean War was an armed conflict on the Korean Peninsula, fought between North Korea and South Korea and their allies. North Korea was supported by the People's Republic of China, that's what it was, and the Soviet Union, while South Korea was supported by the United Nations.
Yeah, so it was basically fight against communism.
Fight against communism.
It's just in a different, because the first one was Vietnam. No, Vietnam was after Korea.
That was after Korea.
Yeah, it was Korea and then Vietnam. Yeah.
But my question is, fighting ended in 1953 with an armistice. I've never seen that word. Armistice with no treaty signed. So, but like it's like the Afghanistan war. It wasn't even the Iraq war; it was the Afghanistan war, and then it turned into the Iraq war. It's like we do these things, and then we're just like, nah.
All right,
hey.
Like Forrest Gump when he stops running. I'm a little tired now.
That's what we do, and we just
think I'm gonna go home.
Yeah, I think I'm done with this. And everyone else is like, wait, but what about? It's like, no. Like all the people. Did we win? Like fight against communism.
Like,
There's people in North Korea who can't do shit.
Imagine if every time you won a war, they give you like a trophy, like put you on
a first place medal.
You know what I mean? Like, they have like the Olympics, like,
and it's just like a step stool.
Yeah. And the White House has like, it looks like Drake's room with all of his awards and shit.
Imagine if they put up banners like rafters for each one, like it was national championships in the White House.
Oh my God!
I think we're headed there. At some point, those pillars on the White House will have. How about this? When do you think they're just going to switch up the White House and make it just some modern fucking monstrosity?
I mean, we thought Trump was going to do that. Wasn't there like a thing going around? Trump was going to change the White House, or am I just? I'm thinking of Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
Yeah.
When Biff.
Yeah,
gets it there.
Yeah.
Well, I think that even back
in Idiocracy they did that too, didn't they?
Idiocracy they do it, and then a wrestler is the president.
Yeah,
which is
Trump was a wrestler.
It's insane. I heard an interview with Mike Judge, and he said the only thing he felt like he didn't call in that movie, he was like, man, we came out with it. I think it was 2009 or something like that. He was like, I grossly underestimated the use of cell phones. He was like, that's the only thing that, and past that.
2009. When did the iPhone come out? 2008?
2006.
Because we didn't have apps like we do now.
No.
And
we browsed. We used the internet, and then everything needed.
And then it's like when you're on the internet. And it's taken forever to load. You're not gonna want to be on it all the time,
right?
You know what I mean?
That
like,
does
how long
make
can
sense.
you just wait?
And the internet wasn't that good. You know, people were still. It was getting better, but we were still like in the DSL days. Like, you know, it wasn't cable, fiber optic, none of that. Unless you were paying a lot of money.
Still in those AOL free minutes.
Like, oh, bro.
I need to ask my daughter if she's ever. I'm gonna be like, hey, do you know what this sound is?
She has no clue. They had a video showing new NFL draft picks, old items, and they were showing them like VHSs, and these motherfuckers were lost.
And they're like, NFL? They're in the NFL?
Yeah, because they're like 20. And they're like, oh, that's it's like the little DVD, and they're like, eh.
Yeah.
it's like, bro, like and then like there's a couple who was like, that's a VHS. You put that in the VHS player, but they're so proud because it's like, this is old shit. Like, this is beta disc.
I asked my when Justin Timberlake got a DUI, he was like on the TV, and I asked Ozzy, who's 8, I was like, hey, do you know who that is? And she's like, no. And I'm like, it's Justin Timberlake. You don't know?
It's not famous.
Cry Me a River? She was like, no.
Cry Me a River? You went way too far back. She don't know that shit. You'd be better off
with. But then I played the Trolls song, and she's like, oh yeah, I know. That's the guy that sings Trolls.
That's the guy that sings Trolls. This shows you why you always have to stay relevant, because you could do a lot of great shit in your career, but to keep the money coming in or to stay relevant, like, no, you have to be the guy who sings the troll song.
Like Snoop. Snoop has stayed relevant.
He's branded being Snoop Dogg so well and he's never changed. That's another thing. Like, it wasn't like we went through all these iterations of Snoop Dogg. Well, we have, Snoop Lion and stuff, but they were always Snoop. I'ma smoke my weed. I'm cool as hell. I'm a Crip. I'm friends with everybody. Mm-hmm. That shit has got him to making $500,000 a day at the fucking Olympics. Like, that is the greatest tried and true. I don't want to hear nobody ever tell anybody, hey man, just be you, just be yourself.
Yeah.
Other than Snoop Dogg. Because he is the best example of that in the world. Just be you. Yeah. And it pans out way better than if you were trying to be something else.
Oh yeah. I agree, 100%.
Way better.
100%.
But tie this off. Where do you see our in the idiocracy world that we're headed towards? Where do you see our health system going?
I think the health system's completely corrupt, man. Yeah. And I don't see was it Eisenhower in his speech where he said that the health industry, if you allow people to capitalize, it'll stifle innovation. And I think that's sort of what we've done, is now we're not trying to heal you. We're trying to keep you on his as long as we can. You know what I mean? So I don't see it getting any better unless someone like RFK, and I only say that because he's the only one actively campaigning, like,
only
hey,
one who's
they're all
saying
corrupt.
it out loud.
The only one saying it out loud. Unless someone like that comes in and does something about it, I don't see it getting any better at all. Because we all know how much they contribute to politics on both sides.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So politicians on both sides aren't gonna really get their hands too much in that. Unless someone like RFK comes out.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's not even, and I think it's just like people need to understand. It's not like they're trying to take all the Doritos off the shelf. It's not that. It's just the fact of, why is there a 15 ingredient difference between the Lucky Charms in the UK and the Lucky Charms here? Not saying you should be eating fucking Lucky Charms from any country every day, but there are just certain things that are the
government. Yeah, the government in other countries they're like, no, that's bad for you. Don't put it in there. And we're just like, all right, how much you gonna pay me to put it in there?
Right. I think I always say this. I think one of the issues with a lot of this stuff too comes down to, even with health, like universal basic health care. You know what I mean? Like that Canada and every other country damn near has. The gift and the curse of America is the fact that it's a melting pot. And I think a lot of lawmakers, or a lot of, I don't want to just say lawmakers, but a lot of people within the system and a lot of people who have the most money, it's one of those situations where, well, we know that the people who will be able to get it will be able to get it. And, there's a lot of different kinds of people in this country. And maybe we don't want to give them all healthcare, opposed to, you go to a country like India, or you go to a country like China, you go to a country like Sweden, you go to all these people are generally the same.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, like yes, you have minority populations, but it is.
Well, they went on a whole tangent also at RFK's conference about how corrupt even the insurance companies are. Like they, basically what the insurance companies are doing is they won't cover certain tests. Like the what Gary Brecker calls it, the methylation test, the motherfucker test, he calls it.
Oh yeah.
And so they won't cover that. They won't cover like your basics. There's so many things you're good. Like I had insurance, I was paying a lot per month. Mm-hmm. Dude, they wouldn't cover a lot of stuff. I'm like, what am I paying you for? I can't even get X-rays, and I still have to pay for my X-rays.
Well, no, because we have to have it has to be a reason.
Like, what am I paying you for? But I think there's a lot of corruption within the insurance and big pharma, which work hand in hand.
Right.
And then with the fact that we're allowing food companies to, like Monsanto, to partner with cancer prevention companies, or not cancer prevention, but cancer management
oncologists and
companies.
Didn't he say in that interview, he was saying that like, what was it, like 60% of oncologists or 65% of oncologists actual income comes from the chemotherapy.
Yeah.
It's like,
so imagine taking that off the table. And you know how many times they've talked about, oh, this guy had a cure for cancer. This guy found a cure for cancer.
And then
all of a sudden he dies in a plane crash.
He didn't have a cure for that.
Yeah. But there's like all these different cures. But I think the number one cure is maybe don't eat sugar. Don't, just eat better.
Yeah.
I think that could be the number one
but that's
thing.
the basic since the beginning of time. We've had herbs and things that grew on this earth that we could take to aid and ease any ailments we had. And then we had diet, and exercise wasn't really a thing because you were exercising and living life because you had to go find food.
They just found out that, remember the food table, the food pyramid when we were kids?
Oh, it's all bullshit.
They just found out that it's wrong. Who do you sue for that?
No, well, apparently
you told us to eat Cheerios for breakfast every morning.
Yeah, because it was funded by General Mills.
And now you're telling us that it's wrong. So, who do you believe? Who do you believe?
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm selling some peptides. If anyone wants to,
well, tell us where we can get. Tell us where we can get the peptides.
No, yeah. So if you go to the website embodywellnessclub.com, where we just did the first batch went really, really well. Like I told you, we have NBA players. We're really going to tap into the pickleball market because everyone's getting hurt.
Everyone's getting hurt over there.
Getting hurt. And so we're really tapping into that. But if they go to Embody Wellness Club, and then we'll put a discount code for you on there.
Awesome.
On there. So surrounded by idiots. So We'll put it up.
And yeah, want to let everybody know, I've been taking them now for about a month and a half, a little bit. Yeah, and I definitely feel the difference. I'm not completely cured yet, but I definitely feel the difference, and it's definitely helping. So yeah, definitely worth a shot. And you should, if you have pain, like I literally like moving up and down my stairs, everything was just
it's incredible. Yeah, I dropped foot and it went away in one day. Yeah. So
well,
cool, man.
Thanks, brother. Thanks for coming
bro.
through, man.
It's fun.
And we out, y'all. Peace.